ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासाहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखावितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna everybody. Please accept my humble obeisances. We are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 1, Chapter 11. And the text for today is text 12, 13 and 14. Till Mataji joins us, we can start reciting the shloka and reading the translation and purport. Hare Krishna Lakshmi Mataji, Danvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Mataji, are you able to read the text 12?
Yes, Mataji.
Are you in a position? Okay,
yeah.
So text 12, translation and purport, and then we'll see if Mataji has joined, then we can hand over to her or we can continue. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naran Jaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Bhutiraye Nashta Praheshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Bhagavatam, Canto 1, 11th chapter, 12th verse. Sarvatru sarva vibhava punya vriksha lathashramaihi udhyano pavanha ramair vrita bhatma kharashriyam. Word to word. Sarva, all. Ritu, seasons. Sarva, all. Vibhava,
Sarva,
opulence.
Vibhava, opulences.
Punya, pious.
Punya, pious.
Vriksha, trees.
Vriksha, trees.
Latha, creepers.
Lata, creepers.
Ashramaihi, with hermitages.
Ashramihi, with hermitages.
Udhyana, orchards.
Udhyana, orchards.
Upavana, flower gardens.
Upanama, flower gardens.
Aramahi, pleasure gardens and beautiful parks.
Aramahi, pleasure gardens and beautiful parks.
Batma Akara, the birthplaces of lotuses or nice reservoirs of water.
The birthplaces of lotuses or nice reservoirs of water.
Shreyam, increasing the beauty.
Shriyam, increasing the beauty.
Translation and purport given by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Translation. The city of Dwarakapuri was filled with opulences of all seasons. There were hermitages, orchards, flower gardens, parks, and reservoirs of water breeding lotus flowers all over. Perfection of human civilization is made possible by utilizing the gifts of nature in their own way. As we find herewith in the description of its opulence, Dwaraka was surrounded by flower gardens and fruit orchards, along with reservoirs of water and growing lotuses. There is no mention of mills and factories supported by slaughterhouses, which are the necessary paraphernalia of the modern metropolis. The propensity to utilize nature's own gifts is still there, even in the heart of the modern civilized man. The leaders of modern civilization select their own residential quarters in a place where there are such naturally beautiful gardens and reservoirs of water, but they leave the common men to reside in congested areas without parks and gardens. Herein, of course, we find a different description of the city of Dwaraka. It is understood that the whole dham or residential quarter was surrounded by such gardens and parks with reservoirs of water where lotus grew. It is understood that all the people dependent on nature's gifts of fruits and flowers without industrial enterprises, promoting filthy huts and slums for residential quarters. Advancement of civilization is estimated not on the growth of mills and factories to deteriorate the finer instincts of human being, but on the developing the potent spiritual instinct of human being and giving them a chance to go back to Godhead. Development of factories and mills is called Ugra Karma or pungent activities, and such activities deteriorate the finer sentiment of the human being and society to form a dungeon of demons. We find herein the mention of pious trees which produce seasonal flowers and fruits. The impious trees are useless jungles only, and they can only be used to supply fuels. In the modern civilization, such impious trees are planted on sides of the roads. Human energy should be properly utilized in developing the finer senses for spiritual understanding, in which lies the solution of life. Fruits, flowers, beautiful gardens, parks, and reservoirs of water with ducks and swans playing in the midst of lotus flowers and cows giving sufficient milk and butter are essential for developing the finer tissues of the human body. As against this, the dungeons of mines, factories, and workshops develop demonic propensities in the working class. The vested interest flourish at the cost of the working class, and consequently, there are severe clashes between them in so many ways. The description of Dwaraka Dham is the ideal of the human civilization. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji, for reading text 12. Hare Krishna, is there any devotee who would read text 13, translation and purport, as we are waiting for Mataji to come? Is there a volunteer?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Oh, sorry. I can read it. Prabhuji wants to read it?
Thank you very much.
Okay, text.
Yes, Mataji. Text 13.
Text 13, okay. So just a translation. The city gate, the city gateway, the household doors, and festooned arches along the roads were all nicely decorated with festive signs like plantain trees and mango leaves, all to welcome the Lord. Flags, garlands, and painted signs and slogans are all combined to shade the sunshine purport. The signs of decoration in the special festival were also collected in the gifts of nature, such as the plantain trees, the mango trees, fruits and flowers. Mango trees, coconut, palms, and plantain trees are still accepted as auspicious signs. The flags mentioned above were all painted with the pictures of either Guru, Guru, Guruda or Hanuman. Guruda or Hanuman, the two great servitors of the Lord. For devotees, such as paintings and decorations are still adored, and the servitors of the Master is paid more respect for the satisfaction of the Lord.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much, Mataji. We now move on to text 14. Anybody would like to read text 14?
Shall I try this time?
Yes, please, Urmila Ben. Yes, please try.
The highways, subways,
Text
lakes,
14.
markets, and public meeting places were all thoroughly clean and then moistened with scented water. And to welcome the Lord, fruits, flowers, and unbroken seeds were strewn everywhere. Purport: scented waters prepared by distilling flowers like rose and currents were requisitions to wade the roads, streets, and ends of Dwarka dams. Such places, along with the marketplace and public meeting places, were thoroughly cleansed. From the above description, it appears that the city of Dwarka Dham was considerably big, containing many highways, streets, and public meeting places with parks, gardens, and reservoirs of water, all very nicely decorated with flowers and fruits. And to welcome the Lord, such flowers and fruits were unbroken seeds of grain were also strewed over the public places. Unbroken seeds of grain or fruits in the seedling stage were considered auspicious, and they are still so used by the Hindus in general on festival days.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much, Mataji. I see that Mataji has still not joined. Maybe she is in the process of joining. Lakshmi Mataji, is it possible for you to contact her?
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we have read the text 12, 13, and 12, 13, and 14. And as we are waiting for Mataji, we can deliberate on it. We are all, these are all arrangements that were made by the Dwarka Vasi to welcome the Lord in Dwarka. So over here, it is mentioned that the houses were decorated nicely with trees, and flags were raised, and there were signs and slogans. And this is very interesting that I learned that the unbroken seeds of grain were also strewn all over the public places. So that is important. I think sometimes we also use the rice that is a little broken, but I guess we should just use unbroken rice or grains. And especially today is a festival day for us. It's Makar Sankranti or Pongal in other places in the south, and it's an auspicious day. So anybody would like to tell us about today? Why is it auspicious? Today is the day when Bhishma Pitama left his body. I think the sun changes and enters into the Makar Rashi, and that is why it is an auspicious day and celebrated all over Okay, so Mataji is not picking her phone up. So maybe this is very unlike her not to message. So she's definitely somewhere where she's not able
Hare
to
Krishna,
join in.
Mataji. Yeah, I tried Mataji, but she's not picking my call. I tried twice. It's raining here though,
Okay,
but I'm
okay,
not sure
okay.
whether her net is down or I'm
Maybe
not sure.
it is her net. Maybe it is her net. No problem. We can just
But I
discuss
tried
and then.
contacting her mobile only. Directly I called, but even that she couldn't pick up. So I'm not sure. Let's see.
Okay, okay, not a problem. Panchali Mataji, would you like to say something about these verses? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Arya Govind Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Sorry to ambush you, but as we are waiting, oh, Mataji has just joined in.
Oh, okay,
we
okay.
can.
Hare
But
Krishna
it's good.
Mataji. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji,
Dandavat
I'm so
pranam.
sorry. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry, Mataji. Here it is Pongal and too many things going on. Really very difficult because my mother-in-law was also here. So we had to do it as a family. My phone was just now, my son got it to me. I couldn't communicate. I'm so sorry for the, really, I'm sorry for making you all wait. Let's get started without any further delay, Mataji. Om Ajnanatinmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamine Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Nirvishesha Shunvadi Paschaita Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tachem Mudiriet, Srimata Swagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana, Hridayanta Stoki Abhadrani, Vidunoti Subratsadam, Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavatateva, Bhagavate Uttam Sloke, Bhakti Bhakti Jai Srila Prabhupada. Let's get started. So this is section where Lord's entrance into Dwaraka is being described. So I'm just going to walk through a little bit and help you understand how it's progressing, and then we can get started with our today's verses. So first, Lord's conch heralds his arrival. That is, upon reaching Dwaraka, Krishna heralded his arrival by blowing his auspicious conch, which dispelled the dejection of the Dwaraka Vasis. The white conch shell was reddened by the touch of the transcendental lips of Lord Krishna. It seemed that a white swan was playing in the stems of red lotus flower. Hearing that sound, which gives fear to the dangers of material existence, the citizens ran quickly towards the Lord to have a long desired audience with him. So we can understand how the conch played a role in fulfilling the desires, which was longing separation of the Lord, of the Dwarkavasis to the Lord. And then the citizens welcomed the Lord by gifts and glorification. The citizens affectionately welcomed the Lord, offered gifts, and began speaking ecstatically to him. So again and again, even in the Bhishma Dev's pastime, the etiquette of how we have to welcome welcomed the guests. How Bhishma Dev, while he was in the bed of arrows, how he welcomed the guests is an etiquette, isn't it? It was displayed. Even though he was in the bed of arrows, because we see Krishna and Pandavas coming, how much ever he could, he tried to pay obeisances to them, and through the glances, he was affectionately welcoming them. So these were the etiquettes that were followed by Bhishma Dev. In a similar manner, whenever we go and meet our Guru Maharaj, the etiquette is that we have to, I mean, if he's not coming to our place, if we are going to make a visit to him, personally see him, then what we do, an etiquette is to take something with us to offer in the form of gifts. Oh, because it is just showing our love. Everything belongs to the God at the end of the day. But how are we to show our love? By returning what God has given us, right? And specifically to our spiritual master, who has shown us the path of enlightenment. We definitely have to do that with a grateful heart. And then, so now this is how they are welcoming. The presentations were like lamps offered to the sun, since the Lord is sufficient, fully satisfied, and supplies everyone. As I told you, the Lord has everything. The lamp is offered to the sun. Imagine this analogy. The lamp is offered to the sun, meaning it is belonging to the Lord, and we are offering what the Lord has given us. So this is what at the end of the day, it means we have to completely, I mean, feel attached to Krishna, and because of this attachment to Krishna, we should be willing to forego anything this material world has to offer for us at the end of the day. So if we have attachment to some person, then we'll be willing to do that to that person. Incomparable supremacy. We continuously offer respect which are worshipped by Brahma, Kumaras, and Indra, the supreme shelter for those who aspire for the highest benefit in life, never influenced by inevitable time. So, dear devotees, here we are going to see a contrast. See these verses 6, 7, 8, and 9. 9. So if you look at the gradation of their affection, it keeps increasing. We have to carefully notice it to observe this intricate point. What I'm trying to say is, so in the verse number 6, what is being talked about? The point on incomparable supremacy is being talked about. But in the next verse, they will say, oh, you know what? You're the one who are the one who gives all successes. So let's go through number 6 and 7 and see the gradation. And then it will talk about the Lord's wrath for, you know, it's very, very rare to get your darshan, Lord, and we are so privileged that we are able to get the darshan of the Lord. And then the 9th one will say unbearable separation. So when you go from here to from Dwarka to elsewhere to Mathura or Vrindavan, that time we have a longing separation with you. So you can see the gradation in terms of their affection being poured out. So let's compare these verses and just see how the affection is pouring out as it goes down. I mean, as you get 9th verse, they talk about unbearable separation. So the 6th verse, what is it talking about? We continuously offer respect to your lotus feet, which are worshipped by who are? Brahma, Kumaras, and the Indras, the supreme shelter for those who aspire for the highest benefit in life. Never you are influenced by the inevitable time. As you know, in the spiritual world, we don't have time. The time is the one that causes anxiety. If you look at time, it is the past or present or the future that is giving us anxiety, isn't it? We always dwell about the past and think about the future, which actually brings fear. And time is the reason for it. Mahakal, that is why we say it's Mahakal. The Mahakal is the one that induces fear in us. And even in the creation process, what happens is the modes are agitated by time. Till then, they are in the Mahatattva form, right? And once the modes are agitated by the Kalishak and the Vivritti Shakti of the Lord, that is when they become agitated. So the modes are again influenced because of time. So time plays a very, very important role, dear devotees, in our life. And this time is controlled by the Lord. And in the spiritual world, on the contrast, we don't see any time. The time is nil. That is why no anxiety. Vaikuntha is a place of no anxiety because no time. And of course, Krishna and his devotees all are there. And this place has no anxiety, also due to the no influence of time. Now, coming back to a point. So, 6th one talked about what? Incomparable supremacy of the Lord. Now, the 7th verse, what is it talking about? Oh, creator of the universe, you are our mother, you are our well-wisher, you are father, you are our guru, and also our worshipable deity. By following in your footsteps, we have become successful. Please continue to bless us with your mercy. So here they're calling Lord Krishna as mother, father, guru, friend, and you have to provide us the mercy. So please continue to bless us. So are you able to see the difference between 6 and 7? Where 6 talked about the incomparable supremacy of the Lord, where he was being worshipped by different demigods. Now they are becoming more personal. They are saying, oh, you know what? You are our father, mother, you are a well-wisher, and you are our everything, and you have to provide mercy to us. This is what we want of you. And then if you look at the 8th verse, still more they become personal. How are they becoming personal? It is said, rare fortune of your darshan. It is our good fortune to come again under your protection, to have a rare darshan of your smiling face filled with affectionate glances which are even rarely seen by the demigods. First they talked about demigods, and now they are saying, you know what? They are saying our darshan that you have given us, these sidelong glances that you are giving us, and the smile that you are giving to us, these are not even received by the demigods. We are so blessed. That's how they're becoming more personal with the Lord. And then the 9th verse, what is it saying? It is talking about unbearable separation to the Lord. It is saying, whenever you go to Mathura, Vrindavan, Hastinapur to meet your friends, every moment seems like millions of years, and our eyes, they become useless, like eyes without the sun. What is the use of having this vision if we are not able to see you, my Lord? It is just useless. It's just a piece of junk now. We don't want to see anything other than you, oh my Lord. This is the feeling of unbearable separation. They are really feeling it. Imagine how this feeling of separation actually is. It is really coming from their heart, and they are really feeling like this, dear devotees. So now, 10th verse, what is it saying? How to live? You're always abroad. How can we stay alive, not seeing your beautiful smiling face with pleasing glances that have vanquished all the sufferings? How can we not see you? You have taken all the sufferings from us. You have vanquished all the sufferings, and how can we? You have shown us you know, once a person has tasted gulab jamun, he knows how that gulab jamun feels like, right? How it tastes and how it feels the tongue. And now, when we take away the gulab jamun and when we deprive him of that person of that gulab jamun, then how will he feel? I'm just taking a mundane example, but the feeling of separation with Krishna is nothing comparable to these mundane examples. But just to kind of give, even in material world, we have so many things that we are after, and when that thing is not given to us, and when we are deprived of it, we get anxiety and depression. Similar with the case of Lord Krishna, who is Ananta, and this blissful form, when the devotees have experienced the smiling glances, what about it? I mean, when a person is so privileged to take darshan of the lotus feet of the Lord, along with this beautiful smiling glances and sidelong glances, then what more is left in this world? And when they are deprived of such a darshan, then how would they feel, and what would be their state of mind is being portrayed here. And as we can see, there is a progression in terms of how personal they become with the Lord. This is important to this is the important contrast that we have to understand, as that is why it is important to recap, so you are having this connection to the different verses and how it sort of you know, progressively goes more personal. Now, so if you look at the 11th to 15th verses, this is showing their affection to Lord Krishna. So when you have affection to when you have affection, what happens? Even small things matters. Some guest is coming, okay, and you clean to the extent possible that even small things you notice, and you say, oh, this should not be like this, that should not be like that, you know, this there's a small speck of dust here, I have to clean this. So you start giving attention to small details. Imagine Krishna is coming, then how much attention they have to give to all these intricate things. That is why Bhagavatam talks about it, to tell the heart of the devotees, how they are feeling in their heart, how enjoying the moment of arrival of Lord Krishna, what all they are doing to express their affection to Lord Krishna. That is why we have these small intricate details that are explained by Sukadev Goswami to understand the mood of the devotees. Otherwise, you may ask, oh, why are we concerned about the decorations of Dwaraka? What is there for us? They are decorating, so they could have just mentioned in one line. Na? No, it is important to understand how they give importance to little things. When your affection is so overflowing, then you're putting that in the through your activities and showing it in the form of your activities. Here it is being said, Dwaraka was, so 11 to 12 we'll go through now. Dwaraka was protected by Vrishnis and was filled with the opulences of all seasons. There were hermitages, orchards, gardens, parks, reservoir of lotuses everywhere. Now, so it is, there's also, I think in the purport that Srila Prabhupada has, there's a contrast, right? I mean, they compare it with the Nagas. 1 second, let me go to the purport of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It's verse number 11. Okay. The Naga planet is situated below the earth, and it's understood that the sun rays are hampered there. Hampered there means the sun rays doesn't enter this Nagaloka planet. The darkness of the planet, however, is removed by the jewels on the head of the Nagas, the celestial serpents. And it is said that there are beautiful gardens, rivulets for enjoyment of the Nagas. So how there's a contrast here to show that how the jewels of the Nagas are able to give a sort of a bright vision to the Nagaloka planet, which is deprived of the sun rays. Like that, it is understood that the place, that is Dwaraka, is protected by the Vrishnis, that is the descendant of Vrishnis, who are as powerful as that of the Lord. And they have their strength manifested upon this earth. So this is what the descendant of Vrishnis are explained in the translation, who they are. They are Boja, Madhu, Darshaha, Arha, Kukura, Andaka. So these people, they were as strong as Lord Krishna. And then the second one, I mean, the 12th purport talks about the point of very intricate details, that as the festive signs, right? All the gates and the doors, they were all decorated with festive signs, flags, garlands, painted signs and slogans, all combined to shade the sunshine. So these were, the city of Dwarakapuri were filled with the opulences of all seasons. There were hermitages, orchards, flowers, gardens, parks, and reservoirs of water, breeding lotus flower all over. So here, Prabhupada talks about advancement of civilization is not estimated by the growth of mills and factories. They actually destroy or deteriorate the finer instincts of human beings, but on developing the potent of spiritual instincts of human beings and giving them a chance to go back to Godhead. Because according to Srila Prabhupada, the development of these factories and mills is called Ugra Karma or pungent activities. And such activities, they deteriorate the finer sentiments of the human being and the society to form a dungeon of demons. So very important point is brought about by Srila Prabhupada. If you look at the society is advancing, but when you look at the advancement, is it actually helping Krishna consciousness? No, because these people who are the owners of this particular project, who are developing these modern technologies, they are filled with Rajas and Tamas. They don't have Krishna in the center. So when they develop products, it is just to fulfill the senses, right? And that is the product that they are developing. And when it comes to the development of big buildings and things like that, they don't give consideration to anything but their development. So when you have such demoniac people who are ruling the missionaries and who are operating the factories and who are the CEOs of the company, when they don't have Krishna in the center, then how would you expect that the people who work for them will be peaceful? They are going to be also agitated by the modes of passion and ignorance. And hence, Srila Prabhupada proposed Varnashrama Dharma, right? Varnashrama Dharma, he wanted people to come together as a society and work together as a society where they can be the owners and where they can work in a very, I mean, say for example, farming or anything like Ayurveda. Do the Devi Varnashrama means Varnashrama having Krishna in the center. When you do these activities that do not cause agitation, like Ugra Karma activities, they cause agitation to the minds of people. If you go, oh, tomorrow there is a deadline, there is this, that is that, I have to take care of so many meetings if I have to go to an office. So much agitation happens. So when the mind is agitated, would you be able to focus on Krishna properly? That is why when you chant the glories of the holy names of the Lord, what happens? Your mind is filled with a lot of thoughts that come upon you, be it work, be it this, be it that, so much tension. Because of that, the chanting is not proper, because you don't have a peaceful mind to start off. So this is the point that Srila Prabhupada is bringing out. He's saying that this Ugra Karma sort of activities that this modern world has to offer, they're all run by the demons, and hence it's filled with passion and ignorance. So it's very important, dear devotees. We do have to consider when we have to come out of this. When the thing is, an intelligent devotee plans when he's going to retire, right? That retirement has to be planned and it has to be executed, because this is just for us to sustain our life. And when we know Krishna is the life and goal, we should have that vyavasayatmika buddhi just to focus on Krishna at some point. It has to happen. So you just have to jot down a plan and say, I'm going to retire at this time. Because as you know, the temporariness of this material world and what this material world has to offer, nothing is temporary in this world. So understanding that fact, the devotee plans for his retirement when he wants to leave and say goodbye to all these things. So this definitely takes time and coordination with families. And again, we are all in a grahastha ashrama. So this definitely has to be talked with the family and then come to an agreement as to when we want to leave this. But again, a prudent devotee or an intelligent devotee will definitely start planning to do that. That is the point, which is the takeaway or the lessons learned from that particular purport of Srila Prabhupada. Because they produce a lot of passion and ignorance, and our works are not easy. As you know, corporate world has so many deadlines, so many things, and so many follow-ups, and the three-man work should be done by a single person. So sometimes work can be really challenging. It can be time-consuming. So then, given all these things, how we can focus on Krishna nicely in a very peaceful way? We cannot. So this is why we have to have a lifestyle that is sattvic as much as possible, so that passion and ignorance are reduced and that we are able to concentrate on Krishna given a sattvic lifestyle. Okay, so now 14th verse, which is talking about, let me go to Srila Prabhupada's purport. So the signs of decoration in the special festivals were also collected from the gifts of nature, such as plantain trees, mango trees, fruits, and flowers. Mango trees, coconut palms, plantain trees are still accepted as auspicious signs. So very nice, isn't it? So we, whenever there is a festival, marriage ceremony happening, we have the mango toranam that is there, which is auspicious. And then the flags above were painted with the picture of Garuda and Hanuman, the two servitors of the Lord. For devotees, such paintings and decorations are still adored, and the servitor of the master is paid more respects for the satisfaction of God. So this is done with the mood that if we worship the servitors, then the Lord will be happy, and this will give satisfaction to the Lord. And so that's the point that Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the verse number 13. So how the decorations were done with the auspicious signs, and how a lot of paintings were also seen of the servitors of the Lord, and the servitor of the master is paid more respects for the satisfaction of the Lord. This is the mood with which a devotee operates. And then the 14th verse, it is talking about the scented waters prepared by distilled flowers for rose and kiora were requisitioned to wet the roads, streets, and lanes of Dwaraka Dham. I remember in the marriage ceremonies, we will have that the rose water, right? We will sprinkle upon people who come. But here they are doing it in the entire roads, because Krishna has to walk in the roads, right? When he walks in the road, I want to say an intricate, important fact here. It is mentioned in our Shastras that when Krishna walks, he doesn't touch the material road. He doesn't touch the material streets or the lanes. the Yogamaya comes and it makes the place spiritual, and he touches the spiritual road, spiritual street, and the spiritual lane. So no matter comes in contact with the Lord at any point in time. The Yogamaya makes the arrangement for the Lord in a perfect way, so that everything material is turned spiritual when Lord comes there to that particular place or arena. So this was very interesting for me, because I never thought about this just as such. But when we were reading, I think the Bhagavad Bhagavatamrita, probably that's where I came to know about this, that Lord's feet never touch at any point in time. So it's so glorious that our Lord, he has touched. And Mataji, you're going to Vrindavan, where Lord's footprints are there in every nook and corner. So this is so auspicious. And as much as possible, whenever we go to Dham or before going to the Dham, the glories of the Dham has to be heard, so that it's continuously registered into our mind. And when we enter into the place, only we hear whatever we see is what we've heard. So that is how you look at the Dham. And even after going into Dham, if you have the association of devotees, continue here, because when you hear in the Dham, that is, I think the potency of the Dham also carries weight. And the bhakti potency of the Dham will also help enhance the potency in you. So this is the speciality of going Dham, and that is why when you look at devotees in the Kartik Mass, the potency is so high, and they can get Bhakti Sukriti, a lot of Bhakti Sukriti can be got during that time of Kartik. And hence devotees always go during that period, even though it is very crowded, they don't mind, because that potency during that month is very, very great. And any time, of course, is preferable. But yeah, just wanted to tell you, since you're going there, and you're going to pay for all of us, and we are looking forward to your Mataji. And what else is being talked about here? Such places, along with the marketplace and public meeting places, were thoroughly cleansed. From the above description, it appears that the city of Dwarka was considerably big, containing many highways, streets, public meetings with parks, gardens, and reservoirs of water, all very nicely decorated with flowers and fruits. And to welcome the Lord, such flowers and fruits with unbroken seeds of grain were also strewn over the public places. Broken seeds of grain and fruits in the seedling stage were considered auspicious, and they are also still used by the Hindus in general on festival days. So this is how they welcome the Lord, with the fruits, flowers, and unbroken seeds. So I didn't know about the unbroken seeds, but that's also a custom that they follow to welcome the Lord. So this is what we have seen. So now, I know we have 15 more minutes. So let me just, I just wanted, since we were talking about the decoration, and we were also talking about how the cleaning was done, a relevant story in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I just thought about this Gundicha Marjina, where washing and cleansing of the Gundicha temple, it happens before Rath Yatra in preparation of arrival of the Lord. So the history of Rath Yatra, of course, goes back to thousands of years to the previous age. But the specific significance of Rath Yatra, as pointed out by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is the cleaning of the Gundicha temple. That was literally shown to us and exhibited by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it's being talked about in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was residing in Jagannath Puri 500 years ago. In the transcendental mind of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the temple of Lord Jagannath is Nilachal, represented by Dwaraka, or sometimes Kurukshetra. And the Gundicha temple is represented as Vrindavan. So for him, Rath Yatra was a process of the residents of Vrindavan meeting Krishna at Kurukshetra and then bringing him back to Vrindavan after a long separation. So this is what I mean. When they come to Gundicha temple, it is back when the Lord comes back to Vrindavan. They are bringing him from this place of Kurukshetra back to Vrindavan after a long separation. Because imagine, Krishna left telling them that, oh, we are going to come back. I mean, he's going to come back, but they waited and waited and waited, but Lord never came back, isn't it? So now this you can understand, right? The mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that he is having longing separation to meet the Lord, and now this Rath Yatra is that longing separation has been resolved because he is bringing the Lord from Kshetra. As I told you, this Neelachal is represented by Dwaraka or Kurukshetra, and Gundicha temple is represented by Vrindavan. So when we are bringing the Rath, then it is the meeting of the Lord. That is the point. So now the Gundicha temple, as you know, it remains empty during the rest of the time. So what's happening is it is accumulated with a lot of dust and dirt because it's not used for the rest of the year. Only during the time of Rath Yatra it is being used. So in preparation of Lord's arrival to Gundicha temple, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked permission from the authorities and and along with the devotees, he started to clean the temple. The superintendent of the temple, he delivered hundreds of water pots, lots of brooms, and Chaitanya Prabhu engaged hundreds of devotees in cleaning, and he personally cleaned himself also. He swept the straws, the dust, the grain of the sand in one place, gathered it all in his cloth, and then threw it outside the temple. Following the devotees, they gathered piles and piles of dust and straw and sand, and then threw them all outside. So during this process, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would observe each and every devotee, how well they were cleaning. And someone, if he is cleaning well, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally please them. If someone wasn't cleaning well, he would correct them. So Srila Prabhupada remarks that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing how an Acharya must train his devotees, correcting and encouraging them as appropriate. Now, Mahaprabhu was also instructed by the devotees by example. He is personally showing them. He collected so much of debris from the temple, and his pile was larger than others put together. So after throwing these debris, after throwing the debris, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, they cleaned the temple second time, looking for final to see if they were missing something else. With hundreds of devotees throwing hundreds of pots of water, they were cleaning the ceilings, they were cleaning the walls, they were cleaning the floor, they were doing everything that they could. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, personally, he washed the place of Jagannath Lord with his own two hands. So even then, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was concerned that the dust would again come to the temple. And he had his devotees clean the outside of the temple in a very nice way. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took off his own garment, his sannyas garment, to even clean the temple. So this is the extent to which he went with regards to cleaning. Now, Srila Prabhupada, he commented that if you clean the temple, what you're doing is you're cleaning your heart. If you polish the deities with paraphernalia, what you're doing is you polish your heart. And the activity of cleansing of Gundicha temple is not taken as a process for the temple complex, but it's also a metaphor that is used to help us understand how we have to clean our heart, dear devotees. This is the point. This is the secret of Gundicha marching pastime that's told in Chaitanya. That is talked about in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Chaitanya Charitamrita. Through this pastime, Mahaprabhu is teaching us that this fortunate soul desires to see Krishna in the heart of on the altar of our heart, altar of their heart. And for that, they have to first clean the contamination that is seen in the heart. It is necessary for us to profusely and spotlessly clean with the devotion. The devotion component is very important. If there is a thorny grass or weeds or dust or the form of anarthas, unwanted elements, if they remain in the field of the heart, then the ultimate recipient cannot be seated there. Lord cannot see. If we have contamination, if we have anarthas in our heart, the Lord cannot sit there. Contamination means we have other desires other than Lord in the center, or we are having karma. There is anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena krishna anushilanam bhakti ruttama. It's very important to understand this verse of the verse of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.1. We have heard this so many times, but to put this into practice is very, very difficult, dear devotees. The highest devotion is that which satisfies Lord Krishna, which is free of the coverings of any pursuits of karma or jnana, and not having any other desire other than the desire to please the Lord. And this has to be done in a continuous way. It's very, very difficult. We have heard and we have read this verse many times, but to put this into practice is the perfection for a devotee. To get to what this our acharyas mean by this anya abhilashita shunyam, what we have to do is something we have to take it to our heart, so that one day we will be able to practice it sincerely. And when we practice it, we cannot just say, I'm going to do this for a few hours. It has to be done on a continuous basis. There should not be any stoppage when we follow through this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu verse. Okay, so that is with regards to the Gundicha marching temple. It's very, very nice pastime, since we were talking about how the Dwaraka Vasis were cleaning, and even the clapping of the hands, what it does to a person is that it changes the fate of the living entities. When we clap, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When we clap, the fate of a person, it changes because it is getting contact with Krishna, and even these hands are acting as instruments when we are doing the act of chanting. Every limb, if it is going to be involved, the fate of every limb gets changed. The tongue is involved in chanting, and that's why Harinam Sankirtan is bringing everything together. All the limbs are working in tandem to get it purified. Each and every limb has to be purified, my dear devotees. And if we say surrender, this limb of surrender, what it means is Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. It is doing favorable things for Krishna, not the favorable things for Krishna. One day, if you were to take a vow, these hands will only do things which are Krishna conscious. It's very difficult, because we may do some activities which are not Krishna consciousness even through this hands. Even to surrender one limb is difficult. If you were to say, I will surrender my ears and only listen to Krishna consciousness, it is difficult. We are listening to a lot of prajalpa, mundane stuff, so many news channels that come to our mind and blow off our mind. If I say I surrender my ears only to listen to Krishna Katha, no, it is not possible even for one day. Similarly with the nose, similarly with our tongue, even to surrender one limb, dear devotees, is very difficult, isn't it? If we were to think, eyes, I'm going to see only the Lord's Swaroop, nothing but enjoy and relish my eyes with the Lord's Swaroop. Is it possible? Even to surrender one limb is difficult, dear devotees. How to surrender all the limbs in Krishna consciousness? That is why we have to purify. Each and every limb has to be purified. Ear has to be purified. Eyes has to be purified. Because lusty desires are seen by the eyes, felt through the eyes, and then ears. It has listened to a lot of mundane music, mundane news, everything. So this has to be purified by listening to Krishna Katha. Our tongue has to always chant the glories of the holy names of the Lord, either in the form of Katha or the Lord's names. The names contain Leela. Mataji, how do you say the names contain Leela? Can anybody think about how Krishna's name also talk about his Leelas?
Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Is it because Krishna's name is non-different to him? So if we consider the name to be Krishna, then automatically by default, the name embeds all the Leelas and all of Krishna.
Yes, absolutely, Mataji. I just wanted to give you an example of Govardhan Giridhari. See, this name, Govardhan Giridhari, when we say this name, the Leela is also included in the name. Like that, each and every name of Krishna has the Leela included in it. A devotee who knows the Leela will be able to appreciate, oh, Govardhan Giridhari, it is talking about Govardhan pastime of Krishna. Like that. Each and every name of Krishna has its significance. That is why the name has the Leela in it. Very nice, Mataji. As you rightly said, the name after some time will reveal the Leela to us. I mean, we will become, we first, the Namasmaran has to happen, and then the Nam Roop will be revealed. Then the Leela will, I mean, everything will happen spontaneously to a devotee. We don't have to take any effort to this. Krishna's mercy, he would bestow this to us. So this has to spontaneously happen by Krishna's mercy. So when we do our sadhana and when we do it sincerely, Krishna will see us. So that time we will be revealed of these glories. That time, this is something that has to be awarded to us. It will happen with the devotee as he progresses. If he is sincere without expectations, Krishna will see his endeavor. Of course, it is Durlabha, Mataji, but we are all here in this path of Durlabha. But it is Susukam. That is why we are able to continue it. Because it is Susukam, because it is happy, we are able to continue our sadhana. But to reach our destination is Sudurlabha, because we are trying to have a relationship with the Lord. Relationship with the Lord is no joke, isn't it? So this relationship with the Lord is very, very precious, and Lord becomes subordinate to the devotee. And for him to become subordinate, that is also, I mean, imagine he's the Supreme Lord who controls millions and trillions of people, and so many things he's operating, he's controlling the material universes, the spiritual universes, so many things. And this person, he becomes a subservient of you, which is, I can't even imagine what it means for that devotee who brings Lord under his control. So that is the destination that we are looking for, and we are Rupanugas. So we have we are looking for the highest. It is it's not even there in the bottom. Right? I mean, it is the highest. So given that, we really have to sincerely endeavor for this, because looking at sadhana, Krishna has to be pleased. So imagine what kind of sadhana we have to do. So with this, we will stop, dear devotees. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I know I came late, I felt so bad, but kindly wish me good luck, because it's auspicious starting of New Year for us. So thank you for your wait, and I really, really apologize again for the wait. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrind ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. Happy New Year first. Thank you for joining us in spite of all the celebrations that are going around in your house, and having the Vadil, the head of the family, being there. I know it is very difficult. So I really apologize that we brought you here from all your festivities.
It's my privilege that I'm able to speak on this auspicious day, starting off.
Thank you very much for your presence, Mataji. Are there any questions or comments for Mataji? Yes, Panchali Mataji, kindly unmute and ask your question.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. It's just a comment. First of all, very happy New Year, Mataji. Just want to say that you've actually brought into my mind a very beautiful comment around Krishna's name. This was a class I was listening of Rasamrita Swami Maharaj. He's based in India, I think, but he was talking about how Krishna's name is divided in 3 different ways. So as you rightly said, the first one is based on the Leelas, like Govardhan or Madan Mohan, say Ranchor, or so various Leelas. The second is Krishna's names are based on how he looks, like Shyam Sundar. Talking about his skin color. And the third strand is how Krishna's names are based on the relations he has, like Nanda Gopal or Yashoda's son. So what's it called? So how
Yashoda.
Yashoda. Yes, Yashodanandan. Sorry, I forgot that. So, so all of Krishna's names, and Krishna has innumerable number of names, but the three main strands in which Krishna's names can be divided into are according to Leela, according to how he's related to the people who are his spiritual eternal associates, but come with him to the material world to do the pastimes. And the third is how he looks. So thank you very much for reminding me of that again, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful. You are remembering it so well, Mataji, and thank you for sharing this beautiful realization. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Beautiful.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Lakshmi Mataji has a question or comment. Kindly unmute and ask your question, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandot Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Wonderful session, Mataji, and Happy New Year. Thank you so much. And a
Happy New
couple
Year
of
to you.
comments or reflection, Mataji. One is on the names, as Panchali Mataji said. Like I was remembering Keshava, Madhusudana, Damodara, and even like Govinda, Gopala, and even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We remember Radha Krishna Bhav, right? Krishna outside, but Radha Bhav inside. So even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So everything, we can't separate his name from pastimes, I think, almost. Everything has some or other his Leela related. So we can't separate these two both. And of course, the Rupam and the Gunam also could not be separated. So everything is all at once. And our Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they will tell even it's the Naam of Hari. But of course, these three are also embedded along with that. But we are not able to recognize at this point. But maybe one day we will. It will be unrevealed. Everything like Guna,
Yes,
Leela,
the name will
Rupa.
reveal the Leela and Rupa. It will reveal. That is the potency of this name. The name will be able to reveal these secret things that are there about Krishna. Will be revealed as we advance. I think when we come to Asakti and Bhava, that stage will reveal these things to us.
Sure, Mataji. Yeah, we are waiting for that. Yeah, that's one reflection, Mataji. And the other one, you were telling that they were cleaning all the roads and even the rose water that we will do at the entrance of in the reception of a wedding. But for Lord, they are doing all over the street. So that time I was, and you also mentioned that God will not keep his feet, but Yogamaya will come and make things arranged, so that the God and Lord can walk on that, right? So I was, as soon as you said that, a picture just came into my mind. It's for Prithu Maharaj when he was doing the sacrifice, and God was so pleased that he desired that I want to touch this land and see how it is. So there will be a picture. He will be just landing lightly, but it won't touch. It will be like that usually reminds me that how God is so pure and this material world is so much of dirt. And it is like almost like if somebody asks me to go and land on a slum area, I will be like, should I keep my leg on this muddy area? Should I keep on this beach or something like that? We will move. So similarly, even though God is so he's so pure, but for his devotees, he's just coming down. He is descending down for us, and he is letting his purest form of his feet onto this earth, where our all impure legs are all walking, and so much of things we are doing. So that picture just flashed, and I always adore that picture, and that just came up, Mataji. I just want to share it here. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful, Mataji. Wonderful, beautiful reflections. And I think like this, the picture, every time when we start to visualize the pastimes with the pictures, Mataji, that is the best thing. Haripashad Prabhu says this, that every activity, everything that we see, it has to be embedded in the form of pictures. And this picture is what at the time of death will save you. Because these imprints are stored in the form of images. When you are dying, nothing can work except for the pictures that are there in the mind. Nothing else can work. So a devotee should strive to imprint his heart with these pictures of the Leelas of Krishna, about so many things. I mean, whatever, Radharani, Krishna, how he's serving the Gopa, Gopis, all these pictures has to go into our heart and our minds, because this will save us during the time of death. even during our katha, we should try to imagine that way. If we are able to do that, that's Maran. I mean, if we are able, as a speaker, if we are able to imagine and get that wow, that's the best. Okay, anyways, that's one thing I wanted to add. Thank you, Lakshmi Mataji, for bringing
Thank you,
up this
Mataji.
point.
And earlier this week we had Vidura Maharaj class, and there also he mentioned about different devotees of Srila Prabhupada, disciples of Srila Prabhupada, who were involved in all these drawings, because now we are admiring and we are trying to recollect all these drawings, but Srila Prabhupada inspired them, motivated them, and of course, Krishna empowered them to draw all these, and it's now available in our Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and in other such scriptures also. So all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Mataji. And I have one question, Mataji. You said someone is going to visit Vrindavan, right? Who is that? Kirtida Mataji? Or?
Yes, Kritika Mataji is coming.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wonderful, Mataji. You're all blessed. Please pray for us, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, I will. I will remember you every day when I'm there. I'll be missing your association and therefore carrying that separation to Vrindavan as well.
For how many days?
Panchali Mataji, you have a question?
Hare Krishna Mataji, apologies for taking
Mataji,
so much time. Just another, just a 10-second one, because you mentioned Brihad Bhagavatam. So just again, a kind of reflection that, you know, we are over here in the Bhagavatam, we are talking about traveling, Krishna traveling again, you know, when he was born, he went from one place to another, then, you know, he grew up a bit, he went back to, again, Mathura, then to Dwarka, then to Hastinapur, then back to Dwarka. So again, it directly links with the second, well, both the parts of the Brihad Bhagavatam, isn't it? Where the Gopakumar is in the first part, where he's going to different devotees to find out who's the best devotee. And in the second part, he actually goes to different places. And then it kind of relates to the fact that, you know, we return, or Krishna returns to the place where that is his favorite. And then, you know, whether it's Vrindavan or whether it's, you know, Dwarka. And that is the reason when we read the text of Bhagavatam and see how much the devotees miss Krishna, they miss Krishna because Krishna misses them a lot, and it works both ways. So if you miss somebody, that means there is that reciprocation of feelings between the two. That is the reason Gopakumar, even though traveling all over, came back to the place where he was closest to Krishna, and that is the reason Krishna returns, you know, to his devotees, and that's why he says, yesterday we were doing the verse where it says, you know, why Krishna makes the Vishnus as powerful. That is because there is that reciprocation of love and respect and surrender between the devotees and Krishna to completely to complete the process of sweetness and love and mellows. So so yeah, it kind of, you know, it's very interesting that you brought in the Brihad Bhagavatam, which is such a sweet text book, and again the common theme of travel and journey, and then returning to the base, the favorite place of Krishna, and in our case our hearts, letting Krishna enter our hearts.
Beautifully said, Mataji. Beautiful realization, and I totally agree with it. This Gopakumar's journey is helping us understand that we don't have to make different stops. We just have to go, have only one goal. Vyavasayatmika buddhi. Just have this one goal. That is good, and that should work. You should never aspire for, oh, I want that, I want this. Don't have any sort of intermediary goals. You're not going to be happy with it. Just have that one goal, and that will make you the happiest. And that is that is why Gopakumar is going through this journey. He at so many places he went, and his heart was never satisfied. Even after going to Vaikunta or any place for that matter, his heart was still lingering in the Shyamasundara form of the Krishna. So this is the mood of a devotee. I mean, that we should have just that one goal to go towards Krishna and nothing else. Thank you, Mataji, for bringing that point.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for all this discussion. I think we've exhausted our time. So we'll let Mataji go as well. Can I request Arya Govind Prabhu? Prabhu, are you able to close this session? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Wish
Hare
you Happy
Krishna.
New Year, Happy Makara Sankranti.
Thank you.
It was a wonderful session with a lot of discussions, and I like the way you restart with the previous verses and then take us back and recap all the stories and all the verses. So we get to, we have forgotten all the previous day's slokas and the verses. So you nicely recap and then remind us about the previous slokas as well. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So I request all devotees to unmute and then chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra once in glorification of Her Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Krishna,
Vancha Kripa Patitam
Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Nitya Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. Ananta Koti Vishnu Vrinda. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai. Her Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji ki Jai.
jai.
All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Radhika Prabhu. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for an excellent class.
Hare
Hare Krishna.